tonight. This is better than the first one. Okay, good. My name is Alex Stokes. I teach stand-up comedy at UT here in Knoxville. It's the first class of its kind in the entire country. Been doing it for 4 years. And tonight I have brought my students to perform here at Gypsy. So let's give them a huge round of applause. This is the worst clapping crowd I've ever had. Let's give a huge round of applause to the guys here at Gypsy for having us tonight. It was a last-minute thing. So the way my class works is an 8-week non-credit night class. 4 nights in the classroom, which we kind of eliminated that. It's like 4 nights we just meet in a brewery and talk. Then they got to perform 4 different times at different breweries around Knoxville. And tonight will be their second performance. So for some of them, they've taken my class more than once, and they've done this before. For some of them, it's going to be their second time ever on stage. And if you've never tried stand-up comedy, this is one of the hardest things in the world to do. I've been doing it 11 years, and I love it, but it's not an easy thing at the beginning. So let's try to get everybody going. Let's give them one more huge round of applause for coming out here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my first student tonight. Very, very funny guy, and I'm looking forward to hearing how they progress from the first performance. So, guys, give a huge round of applause. They're very, very funny. Gregory Wilson. We'll kick that. First off, I want to thank everybody here, especially Alex Stokes. It was a real honor that you booked this gig at the very last minute for us. Super happy about that. Also, thank you for tripping on stage too, because it makes it so much fucking easier for me to be able to do this bit. Because I don't feel as bad about it. So, nonetheless, I had gotten off of work the other day, and I was a little bit bored. I got off early, and I was just driving down 129. On the side of the road, I see a psychic stand, and I decide, fuck it. Like I have some money, I have some time. Let me go and figure things. I just want to go and figure this out. So I go in. I'm like, do some psychic shit on her. She's like, all right. So do you want to get your palm read? I was like, absolutely, I want to get my palm read. And so she goes and she grabs my palm, we sit down together. She looks at it deeply. She's like, Greg. I'm like, holy shit, you are so fucking good. She's like, you haven't taken your name tag off yet. So I take my name tag off, and then she looks deeper into my palm, and she's like, you have complex issues, don't you, Gregory? Shit, I totally fucking do. And she looks deeper, and she's like, it's about something that you really cannot change. I'm like, well, god damn it, she is so fucking good. She looks a little bit deeper into my palm, she's like, Greg, you got a small dick, don't you? And I'm like, fuck, man, you're so fucking good. Shit. Well, anyway, I have a tendency to be a hyper-focuser. Like, I have a tendency to, I can't do a whole lot of things at once. In fact, Alex Stokes himself told me the best thing that you need to do is practice your routine in the car. And so I tried that the other day. And, I was driving down 40, then all of a sudden a monsoon comes down, traffic starts getting heavy, and I start practicing my routine. And then I realized that this is virtually fucking impossible. It's like being a goddamn juggler. Like, juggling is fucking impossible. I have no idea how to do this, so I about get into 3 different wrecks. And at that point, I just realized, you know what, fuck it. I would rather come up on stage and just improvise all of this shit versus practicing in my fucking car. But the fact is, so I am a little bit of a hyper-focuser. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and I was like, it's not that I don't listen to you, baby. It's not that I don't listen to you whatsoever. The fact is that I focus on one important thing at a time. And she's like, is that the reason why whenever you're trying to finish during sex, that you just go and you get in a missionary position, turn the lights on, and then just go at it for 30 minutes and finish? And I'm like, actually, babe, that's not the reason why. The reason is just because that's the way God intended things to be. So, nonetheless, hyper-focusing has fucked me over. I accidentally took a dude on a ride home that he didn't really want to go, on a road from. So, anyway, I was in Maribel. And Maribel really is just, to me, it's really just a hospice home that's acting as a city. And I ended up going to a bar there. There's literally just 2 bars in Knoxville, and have a really good time. And I leave, and I maybe had 2 to 3 beers. I get home, get in my car, just driving home, whatever. 30 minutes later, I start hearing some noise, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I hit a dead animal. I turn around, and there's this dude in the fucking back of my car. And so I start freaking the fuck out, like, oh my god, like, I need to handle the situation. Y'all, I work in hospitality, so I just started going off the natural instincts. So I gave him a pillow, a blanket, made him really comfortable, asked him if he was okay, and at that point, I was like, oh my god, I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm going to do. Like, how am I gonna get out of the situation? First off, I just came back from a bar. Second off, I got some dude fucking passed out the back of my, the back of my car. Like, what the hell am I gonna do? So I'm like, okay. Number 1, Greg, don't get pulled over by the police. So I speed up a little bit, and then all of a sudden I hear, whoop whoop. I'm like, fuck. The blue lights are flashing behind me. And I pull over on the side of the road, and I'm like, shit, how am I going to explain myself out of this one? So 2 cops get out of the car, and we all understand that why there needs to be 2 cops that travel together. It wouldn't be a beating if it's just 1 cop. And so anyway, they get out of the car, they come up to me, tap on the window. They're like, son, do you know why we pulled you over? I was like, I'm sorry, Dad, I don't know why. Well, that was my first fucking mistake. So they're like, all right, smart ass, get out of the car. So I get out of the car, and then of course the dude who's passed out in the back of my seat is just still passed out in the back of my seat. They're like, is he gonna get out? And I'm like, I am so sorry. First off, that's my roommate Bill. And in that moment, I realized that was a fucking horrible name to give him. First off, anybody that was born before 1979, or born after 1979, they don't have the name Bill. And also, secondly, I don't know if this dude has his wallet. So, anyway, I'm like, well, Bill passed out in the back of my car. And they're like, okay, so why? And I'm like, I'm just taking him home, just trying to take him home and make sure that he's comfortable. So, he has me step outside of the car, and he's like, you're gonna have to get your roommate out of the car. And I'm like, I can't get him out of the car. Like, he's very passed out, he's very comfortable, sir, don't bother him. So, they come to the other side of the car, they take him out, they grab him, and then it was like walking an old lady. They just like carefully walked him over, placed his hands on the back of the car, like, hey there little guy, just lay there with your hands on the car and you're gonna be good. And at this point they come over and start questioning me. They're like, so, sir, we're gonna need to do a sobriety test on you. And so what happened was, told me to touch my left hand to my nose and stick my left hand out. Now, if a lot of you don't know, I actually have an essential tremor in my left hand. So this is really, really, really fucking bad for me because I know I can't do this well. So I touch it, go out, touch it again. They're like, sir, you want any drugs? I'm like, was yesterday, but not today. And they're like, all right, well, we're gonna need to search your car. Well, if any of you know me here, first off, my car is just basically a storage space for me. And so, basically, it took them about an hour to clear out my entire car. In fact, the fact that this dude was able to fit in my car was amazing. You know how dads are really, really, really good at basically fitting a whole bunch of stuff in a truck before you leave, or a whole bunch of stuff in the trunk before you leave? Like, the fact that he Tetrised his way into my car was absolutely fucking amazing. Like, the dude was like his body was in patterns that I had never seen before, and somehow he was still very, very comfy. So, so anyway, we go in, and one by one, the cops start taking stuff out of my car. So they take out a laundry basket that I have. Then, apparently I had some bottle rockets in my car, which I didn't understand whatsoever. I don't know how they got in there. And then they took out a hammer, and they took out a screwdriver. And at one point, the cops stopped, and they were like, Greg, why the fuck do you have all of this shit in your car? And I'm like, well, I wanted to have a really good party. So anyway, they ended up pulling out all my stuff out of the car, which in the end looked like a gigantic yard sale. And at that point, thank God I didn't. I was extremely lucky in that circumstance. It could have been really, really bad. So anyway, they end up just going, all right, you're free to go. So now I'm left with all this shit that's right beside my car. And the cops all drive away, so now I'm like, hey, Phil, you're already getting a fucking free ride. You need to help me put all this shit back in my car. And he's like, okay. And so I start loading stuff in. He falls on the side of the road. He's able to throw my shirt in. He gets into the back seat. I just keep going. He falls asleep again. He gets himself in that Tetris pattern once again. And then we drive off. Now I'm like, all right, so I gotta figure out how to get this dude the fuck out of my car, because first off, he doesn't belong here in the first place. So, what I ended up doing was I called one of my best friends. Her name is Monica. She is maybe a 5-foot-tall lesbian. She is an alpha woman. And basically, she's the only one that I figured could figure out this entire situation for me. So I call her, and I'm like, how do I get out of this situation? And she's like, just fucking drop him off. Like, literally, just get him out of the fuck out of your car, and then drive away. So I'm like, all right, well, how the hell am I gonna do that? She's like, pretend you're an Uber driver. So I drive a little bit down the road. I turn around to Bill at the time, and I'm like, hey, Bill, we're almost at your house. Maybe it's time for you to, you need to get out of here. And Bill looks at me, and he's like, oh, thank God. So I pull over to the side of the road, and I'm like, all right, you're at your destination. So he stumbles out of my car, and I just fucking speed off as quickly as possible. Yo, I'm from Panama City, Florida originally. I'm trying to adjust to a new area, and I want to say here in Tennessee, that was the coolest way that I ever met my current pastor. All right, y'all. My name's Greg Wilson. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Gregory Wilson, Greg Wilson, Pastor Wilson, whatever you want to call. All right, guys, you ready for your next performer? She's a fellow author. like me. That's how we started talking. She came to the first class. We shared our books together. We both written quite a few. So it's kind of cool. Guys, give a huge round of applause to Julia Pope.
Thank you, Alex. And thank you, Gypsy Circus. Alex, you taught me well. You didn't have to teach me this. It's a given. All right. What's up, Gypsy Circus? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Alex introduced me as Julia Pope. Well, I am an endometriosis warrior. Can I hear all the ladies shout in the house? Come on, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Louder. All right. Well, people have told me that I am a visionary. In my conversation with them, they say to me, wow, you're a visionary. And a couple months ago, I looked at the word visionary in the dictionary. It is somebody who thinks of wild, creative, sometimes unrealistic ideas. And I'm going to give you an idea that might be unrealistic, and maybe it's all the more reason for me to talk about this. Your doctor's not going to give you this advice. You're not going to find this on the internet. There's no community internet research article. So I'm going to go ahead and say it, especially to those women who have endometriosis. Quit your job, your day job, and become a rock star. Now you might think, I can't sing. I can't carry a tune in my bucket. Well, I'm not talking about some nice projecting voice. I'm talking about one in which you can moan, scream, shout, groan. That's what it takes to be a rock star. Oh, believe me, I personally know quite a number of them. And it's because of all the shouting and the moaning you do, you can easily become a rock star. And again, I'm not talking about some nice projected voice. You can sound a lot like a plant. Because, as you know, he groans, he moans, he shouts, and if you were to sing like him, the best song you could sing that's his is Dazed and Confused. I mean, think about it. Been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true. Wanted someone, never bothered for you. Lots of people talk and few of them know. Soul of a woman was created below. And if that does nothing for you, if you don't think that sounding like a plant would be enough, another option would be to be the lead singer of a screamo band. And so think about it. I've seen screamo bands, and all they ever do is scream. And because of having endometriosis, you yourself scream. I mean, think about it. You sound like this. And you would just be so awesome on stage. You can roll around on the floor, and that's when you would make your big break. Do you know how many rock stars you know over the decades whose career takes off because they are rolling around on the floor? And you would be so big that you would in the same lineup as some really cool rock legends. And he would be a part of endometriosis benefit show. And one of the criteria that they have would be they would have to have at least one song on their set list that has the word pain. Now, maybe one of those would be Nazareth, because they sing, love hurts, love scars, love and bones, every heart, not told or strong enough to take away the pain. Love is like a cloud that holds a lot of rain. Then we also have Poison at the show. And one of their songs they have to sing is Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Because you realize that line right before that guitar break was, "Though it's in my eyes, I can still feel so much pain. Like the scar, like the scar that touched me." But the scar remains okay. I just drew a blank with the lyrics. So then we also have to get sloth, because as if it's not enough that you're up all night sleeping all day with pain, you can also identify with, I tried to convince myself that the pain is still not gone. All right, so that's all I have to say. Y'all enjoy. See you next time.
We normally have 10 people in our class. Half of them did not show up tonight, so I wouldn't fail them, but it's a non-credit class and they paid for it and I get paid, and so I don't really give a shit, so that's fine. I don't care if they come or not. They all pass. All right, so your next guy, this is a very funny guy. The second time he's been in my class, and he's getting his first paid gig next month, right? Yeah. I may change my mind after this tonight. But no, very funny guy. I'm curious to see what he's going to do. Guys, give a huge round of applause for John Silk.
Don't smack my butt either. Don't smack the other split. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that intro, Alex. Thank you. I gave myself a standing ovation. Trying some new stuff tonight, so please forgive me if I screw shit up. This is the second time I'm taking a class. Alex is right. Not everybody wants to be a comedian. I'm actually doing this just because I want to be a better public masturbator. But this is the second time I took the course, and although he says he's not going to fail you, he actually failed me the first time. I did great on knock-knock jokes. I did great on dad jokes. But he failed me because he said I just wasn't paying attention when it came to the whole holding and using the microphone plan. Sorry, I promise I'm working on it, Alex. I swear to God I am. But anyway, as you can tell from my accent, I am not from here. I'm from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Again, city of brotherly love. If your name is Abel and your brother's Cain because you get fucking murdered there real quick. It's a kind of a tough town. I'm from there, my wife's from there. When we're driving up there, you can't just relax. You gotta kind of get psyched up. You gotta pump yourself up to get an attitude. And we find ourselves like football players on the field smacking each other's helmets. And we just want to make ourselves angry so we can deal with people in Philadelphia. And we always wind up in an argument, just like every other fucking day. But we get there, we don't want to sound like country bumpkins and walk around town and say stupid country bumpkin shit like, hello, and how was your day? We want to be assholes, we want to be mean, we want to be mad, and we want to be uninterested, just like the rest of Philadelphia is. But I do love that town. The last time we were there, we went to the Catholic school that I attended in grade school, and I actually got flipped off by a nun, I swear to God. We were leaving Catholic school, and the nun flipped me off. Oh, fuck her. Next time I'll buy my weed somewhere else. That bitch. If she was smart, she would have counted it before we left. But That's on her. She always sold good weed when I was a kid, so I figured we'd visit her. But I love that town. Part of the reason is I lost my virginity there. I was 13 years old. Some people, some teenage boys are lucky enough to lose a virginity to like a friend's mom or something like that. Not me, I didn't. I barely knew the kid. I just hung out with him because his mom was hot. But it worked out because she was a fucking MILF. And that was before the term MILF was invented. She was great. She was 28 years old, I was 13. She showed me the way, and it was a wonderful summer I'll never forget. But I fucked it all up. We got caught because her son and I were playing ball in the yard. And I threw the football really hard, and it hit him right in the fucking face. And he was all pissed off, and he said, "You motherfucker." And I was like, "What? She told you?" And he figured it out. Anyway, Philadelphia is just, it's such a great town. It's so historic, but again, it is so violent. If the founding fathers were alive living in that city today, number one, they'd be like 200 years old. But if they were downtown at Independence Hall where they signed the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, they'd probably get shot. They'd get killed. And those guys wearing those white wigs, they'd probably get raped. And the city is just, it's so crowded, it's fun, but I had to move away. It just got, there were so many people, there was so much traffic, and there was so much competition for every resource, and you couldn't find any fucking meth. So we moved down here to Tennessee, America's breadbasket of methamphetamines. America's meth basket, if you will. This place is great. If you want meth, actually if you're a cop, I don't see the problem in finding meth. And if you're just new to the meth game, number one, welcome, enjoy it. But if you're looking for meth, all you got to do is just drive around looking for a dirt road. And you take that dirt road in either direction, and you look for a trailer park, boom, there's meth. Although the last time I bought some, it was kind of sketchy. It was a single wide rustic trailer, and I went inside, and there was this husband and wife. There was these two cousins, a couple high school dropouts, some toothless twins, and it sounds like a lot of people, but it was really just two people. But really, seriously, I love Tennessee. I love that I moved here. This place has so much. The food is incredible. Barbecue, all the food here. If you haven't tried the tacos on Taco Tuesday, go order one. But the food's incredible. The music is great. You got blues, you got country, and of course you got those great big beautiful mountains. And I'm not talking about Smokies, I'm talking about Dolly Parton's titties. Those things are beautiful. They really should be a national monument. And I'm going to volunteer myself to be a park ranger in that national monument to give history and guided tours weekly. Seriously, I think that they should be, Dolly Parton should be carved in Mount Rushmore, but I just don't think they have enough granite, to be honest. Seriously, I know people don't get pissed off. Dolly Parton's a legend around here. She's a saint. If you don't know about Dolly Parton, she actually gives free books to all the kids from birth to kindergarten. If you attend her high school, if you live in her county, you can earn a scholarship to college. And for all the teenage boys, she provides unlimited spank material. And by spank, I mean masturbate. I'm very pro-masturbation. By that, I don't mean I'm for it. I mean I'm a professional, and it has nothing to do with talent. It's strictly hard work and dedication. My wife is very anti-masturbation. She said if you masturbate while you're married, you are cheating on your spouse. So I'm a cheater. But I really enjoy it. It's just something I like to do. It's a great hobby. Believe it or not, I masturbate everywhere I can. I masturbate at home. I masturbate in public. I actually masturbated on the drive here. And if you think that's part of my act, ask the guy that went before me, Sean. We carpooled together, and he was a little pissed off. I actually once got caught masturbating on an airplane, which is kind of weird. But it didn't go the way you thought. There was a little twist. The stewardess was kind of turned on by it. And she took me in the back and she finished me off. I'm just going to say I wasn't the only one that caught a red eye that night. So, anyway, I'm writing a book on masturbation. I think there should be a book. I think there should be guidance. I think there's new techniques that the French and the Germans are coming out with. And this book will be the first book in history where the pages are already stuck together. And it is kind of sad and depressing. It's a book about masturbation, but there's always a happy ending. Happy ending. Happy ending. The last chapter is actually going to be sponsored by Kleenex. I already have a deal worked out. It's just going to be blank soft pages. I think it's going to be really, really popular. And my editor expects it done in about 4 to 6 months. My wife told them if I perform like normal, it's probably going to be a little bit early. And I am making a young adult version for teens, for young boys. It is going to be a pop-up book just to make things easy. So last thing I want to talk about, I actually work for the post office. Please hold your applause, nobody get up. The post office, easily the most hated government agency in the world. Well, maybe the IRS. But I work there, and I work the front window. I'm one of those clerks. When you go in to the post office, I'm the guy that helps you send your packages, whatever. It sucks because not only am I working for the government, I'm also working in fucking retail. It's like going to hell and getting a frontal line pass for all the torture devices. But I work this window and I have people come up all day. I bear the brunt of all the assholes, and they're like, hey, my package didn't make it to Idaho on time. Or they come in and they're like, this is bullshit. Stamps are going up a fucking nickel. Or they come in and they say, my package didn't arrive to my house, it was crushed and the shit inside was broken. And I'm like, well yeah, that was me because you're in your kitchen all the fucking time about stamps. But anyway, there's one type of customer that really drives me nuts. Do you guys know what boob money is? Anybody here know what boob money is? It's during the summer, women, they wear their bikinis, they wear spandex, they wear whatever they do, and they don't have their purses, they don't have pockets. They carry their money in their bras. They carry it in their bikinis. And guys think it's kind of sexy that you get to deal with that, but it's always women that you really wouldn't want to help them get the money out of their boobs anyway. And I feel like it's always sweaty, like they just went to the gym, but you know from looking at them, there's no fucking way. And if you're a woman and you think it's okay to have boo money and you don't know why I'm up here bitching, imagine if I gave you a $5 bill that I've been holding under my balls for 4 hours. Would you really want that?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm going to get out of here. One more quick joke. My wife, the other day, she came out of the house, she was shopping. She had a pair of camo spandex, which I'd never seen her wear. And of course, being a dad, I had to make the joke. I was like, hey baby, now I'll never see it coming. And she answered, she said, you never have anyway, why start now? I'm usually by myself. So apparently I'm not the only person making jokes about masturbation in my family. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it, y'all.
You don't ever do that to the host. Guys, keep it going for John Silk. Don't fake clap. He's actually married, which is weird. It's real, I checked it out. All right, we got one.
Thank you.
I think they're all conspiring against me to cancel my class tonight, aren't you? All right, we got one last super tonight. She's actually been doing stand-up for quite a while, and I'm excited she took my class, which is weird because I don't usually get people who are already comedians take my class. So I'm kind of honored, but let's give a huge round of applause. She's very, very funny. Amanda Kroll. She actually has her own open mic too, which we'll talk about too.
Experienced comedian. I just want to apologize right now, you guys. I know I look a little bit sloppy. I had some vodka when I was doing my lipstick smearing off. What are you gonna do? I was thinking I'd like to wear some concealer or foundation to cover some of these zits, but I can't find anyone who makes my skin tone. It's Flushed Manatee. If anyone knows somewhere I can get that, just let me know. So the other day I was at home and I heard a car pull up into the driveway. And I said to my roommate, hey, who is it? And he said that, mail. And I said, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, I'm waiting for a package. That's for you, John. Since I'm bi though, I take all packages.
Nice.
Anyway, do we have anyone here tonight who is planning on getting married? Anyone with a fiance? No. Great. They say you're supposed to make sure your audience is engaged, so got that taken care of. What about anybody here married? We've got a few people married, all right. Yeah. So unlike a man whose wife is in the room. I'm actually married. I have been married for 12 years, actually. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. That's the thing though, is it's hard to keep a relationship going for that long, but we figured out the secret, and it's just being able to give each other space. That's why I live here, and he lives in Arkansas. Works out great. The thing is, our marriage is kind of a joke, or really a protest. I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2008, gay marriage was a real hot topic in politics. And there were a bunch of people who said, we can't let gay people get married. If we let gay people get married, that will destroy the sanctity of marriage. And we thought, that's stupid. You can't put that on gay people. Hell, we can destroy the sanctity of marriage without even being gay. So we did. Anyway, I want to say right now, I love my family just the way they are, thousands of miles away. So, did anyone here get to celebrate Father's Day? You got a couple people? Cool. Cool. I did not. I actually went to my boyfriend's family's house for Father's Day, and that was something special. So he's a little bit younger than me, and it's weird. It took some getting used to, but I really like him a lot. And I was telling him the other day, babe, I dated assholes for so long. I wish I had met you 10 years ago. Of course, 10 years ago, he was in middle school. The other thing, though, is things do get awkward. He used the name Daddy in the bedroom recently. He said, oh yeah, you like Daddy's big dick? So I said, oh babe, you know I do. But yours is good too. Anyway, I think his family thinks I'm a bad influence on him, which is completely fair and correct. He is an interesting dude. When I first met him, he was driving a Buick, taking care of his grandma, passing drug tests. That's all gone out the window. He's even lying to his parents now for me. That's true love right there. The thing is, it's tough being with his family because I feel like I need to behave nice or proper, and that's real tough for me. So, for one thing, his mom asked me what kind of pizza I liked, and I said, sausage! And she said, oh, I love sausage. And I was able to restrain myself then. I didn't say anything like that. But the other thing is, his grandma was saying how lonely she was. And I said, you should try dating a younger guy. It's great. They're wonderful. Because her husband had died, right? I guess I should have waited longer than a month to recommend that to her. Anyway, the saddest thing, well not the saddest thing, the best thing, the toughest thing was when his family told me a story about when he was a little boy. He was 2 or 3 years old, and they were going to get a new dog, and they wanted to bring the dog to the house and see how it could interact with the family and the children. And so this dog's here. Little baby Will, my boyfriend, is crawling around and sees the dog. The parents are like, I don't know, should we get this dog? They look over, and Will puts his finger in the dog's butthole. That's what he's doing, right there. And I was trying not to say anything, but his parents are telling me, he just put his finger in that dog's butthole. And I just had to say, that's how I fell in love with your son. Anyway, I didn't do anything with my father this Father's Day. I actually haven't spoken to my father in 7 years, but I can't really blame him for that, because he's dead. The thing is, I miss him a lot, and one of my favorite memories is when he took me and my sister to go see the movie Joe Dirt. You guys remember that movie? Oh, yeah. David Spade with the mullet. Very lowbrow comedy, but very funny. Anyway, end of the movie, the lights come up, and I looked over at my dad, and he was crying. And so I said, Dad, what did you think of the movie? And he said, completely serious, Amanda, I had forgotten that movies could be that good. That was a couple days before he sat us down to tell us he'd been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. The first time. We had that conversation a few times. Anyway, my dad's dead, but my mom is still alive. And I just want to say right now for everybody, my mother is an inspiration. She decided to pursue her dreams. And yeah, she had to make sacrifices, but she is doing exactly what she wants to in life, you know? She moved to Key West, she started a hotel, and she's made a lot of money, and now she's traveling in her retirement years, which is great. And I understand that you have to make sacrifices to achieve your dreams and your goals. It kind of sucked for us because her sacrifice that she made was leaving her kids 1,000 miles away in the care of a man whose brain was disintegrating. But it worked out for her. The thing is, my mom is an amazing person. She is an inspiration as a person, not so great as a mother. But she's making up for that because I am 35 and she's still paying for my therapy. Anyway, my mom wasn't around much when I was a kid, but I like her, you know, I miss her, and one of the most important lessons she taught me was my mother taught me to sing. And she didn't teach me to sing well, she didn't teach me how to sing. She just taught me, it's good to sing. Sing, it feels good. We like singing, you know, what do they say? We do not sing because we are happy. We are happy because we sing, you know? And sometimes there's people who will say, oh, I don't want to sing, I'm not a good singer. You know, I'm no good, I don't sound any good when I'm singing. And it's like, we're just trying to have fun, we're just trying to hang out. Just sing, even though you don't sound any good at it. You're probably not any good at sex either. But that never stopped you from trying. Anyway, so a couple weeks ago, well, 3 weeks ago, we were doing a comedy competition here. And it was actually right here. And I was doing some jokes, and it was cool because the judges would leave us notes and responses about what we did well and what they thought we didn't do well. And one of the notes that I got was that I look less professional because I use notes, and that's completely fair. But I don't think not using notes would make me look any more professional. That train left the station a long time ago. The other thing, though, is the judges had written down that I have good pacing, which is great, because I never am sure how much I should walk around on stage during my jokes, but I guess I'm doing it right. Okay. Thanks so much. Give it up for Barrelhouse. Give it up for Alex. Give it up for everyone here tonight.
Give one more round of applause to my students tonight. So I told them before we started that my wife was here tonight. And if you can make my wife laugh, I would be impressed. Because I've been a professional comedian for 11 years. She doesn't laugh at me anymore. So I told them I'd be impressed. So better luck next time, guys. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. She's not gonna laugh next time either. I'm screwed. Seriously though, if you want to follow these guys, they've got 2 more performances. Trust me, it's really cool to watch them from the 2nd to the 3rd to the 4th. It's a big difference. We're going to be at Scruffy City Hall in a couple weeks, and then Schultzbrow will be our final show. Also, I got to plug myself real quick. August 7th, here at Gypsy Circus in the Barrel House in the main room over there. I'm going to be filming my Amazon Prime special. So, and it's a book release show. All in one night. It's going to be a big night. Tickets go on sale, I think this week is what Jason said. So make sure you guys check that out. We'd love to have you. And thank you all so much for listening. And stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. All right, thank you.